Hello, in this video, I'm going to go over the whys behind your assessment plan. Taking the time to develop your assessment plan will allow you to efficiently scaffold the learning of your students and help you to ensure that the course objectives are being met. To ensure that your objectives and assessments are aligned, you want to start with your objectives first and then build your assessments. Once you have your assessments planned and laid out, you can start designing learning activities and selecting resources that will systematically work your students up to the desired levels of understanding. As you're selecting and developing your assessments, you should really consider the question, what will I accept as evidence of student understanding and proficiency? This diagram from Learning Commons at UC San Diego shows how the elements of a course connect. They explain the chart by saying a well-aligned course means that the components of the course contribute to the learner's experience and lead them directly towards achieving the expected outcome. So as instructors, we have to be very critical about the resources we select and the assessments that we're using. We have to remember that every resource and assignment that we give to our students must be tightly aligned to the objectives. It's really not fair for the learner to spend course time using materials or completing a project that doesn't align to our objectives. So our first why for having an assessment plan is exactly that, course alignment. So assessment is used in courses to determine how well students are meeting the goals that have been set. So this could be goals around job performance, goals around changes in knowledge, or even like program and department goals. Measurable outcomes from assessments should be comparable with or benchmarked against our set course goals. Assessment outcomes, in turn, should inform further instruction. So if we follow the backwards design approach of first starting with our measurable objectives and then building formative and summative assessments from those objectives, we can really develop lessons to scaffold learning that will meet those objectives. So if you move in the backwards design process, your course is going to be better aligned. So this brings us to the why number 2 for having an assessment plan, and that is that this gives you a clear path to mastery. Strategically developing your course based on the course objectives will ensure that there is this clear path to mastery, that students have a way to achieve the objectives of your course. Focusing on the objectives as you plan your assessments will help you to decide in your course what's important and what's unnecessary. To make this process clear for your students, follow this path. So first is goal setting. Let your students know the learning objectives. Make them explicitly clear. Next, learner engagements. So give the students time to interact with the concepts and the content. This can be through learner-to-learner engagement, learner-to-instructor, and then learner to the content itself. Next, the students need feedback. So offer low-stakes assessments of learning to inform the next steps for the students in their goal setting, but also for you as an instructor. If you gauge where the students are in terms of achieving those objectives, you can make plans for how to intervene. And then finally is your assessment. So student mastery is evaluated. This would be like your summative assessment that comes at the end of some unit or learning. And the third reason why an assessment plan is important is that it helps you to balance your assessment types. You may well need to reevaluate traditional assessment methods in the blended environment to ensure that your assessments correspond to your learning objectives. Since all of the student learning is no longer taking place exclusively in the classroom, it would be appropriate to consider other assessment methods that align with the online environment where some of this learning is taking place. Consider discussions, self-checks, self-assessments, web quizzes, rubrics, in-class and online essays, presentations, leading discussions, independent projects. All of these can be assessments for different purposes and measure different levels of analysis and understanding. So using your learning objectives, you want to make sure that each assessment serves a strategic purpose, both in content, but also delivery method. And it has to be useful to you and the students. This may often mean that the traditional in-class exam or maybe multiple choice on-paper quiz is not the most effective way to quantify student progress. As with anything else, outline your assessments up front in your syllabus. State clear expectations. Have guiding grading criteria and rubrics that you can use so your students will be the most successful with your assessments. So why is an assessment plan necessary? Well, first, it ensures that your course is aligned. Second, it paves a clear path to mastery. And third, it allows for balanced assessments. Thanks for watching.